Great.
We've
Ludo,
just,
do you just take me out or do I just leave?
Or stay.
Apologies. Oh, I don't want to stay at the front of the class. I already feel a bit
We will unpin you.
exposed.
We
There
will
we
unpin
are.
you.
Thank you.
there you are, Michael. So, welcome to straight off the back of Alex Asher's workshop there on marketing and the various areas in which a tutor can make themselves more visible online and can reach out to their students. We're going to continue straight on for that theme for the next hour until 4 p.m. British summer time with Michael Gibben, who is the founder of Coach for Tutors. And really, Michael has been a very active member of the community, very willing, very generous, and very happy to share his thoughts and ideas on helping tutors and tutoring businesses grow from launch right through to gaining new clients. So today, the title of this event is Finding and Keeping Great Clients. So, Michael, welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Ludo, and thank you everybody for coming out today. We're going to have a great workshop hour. How's everybody doing today?
Thumbs up in the reactions.
Awesome. All right, so let's get started. So for those of you who are able to get the workbook, the Finding and Keeping Great Clients workbook, great. If not, that's okay. We'll follow along right here. So we're going to be going through today 3 different pieces together. We're going to be going through you're finding your specific niche and your ideal clients. Then we're going to be going through some of the major steps for developing the relationship with a new client. And then we're going to go into if a relationship happens to start to go into a bit of a spiral, how can you turn that around and how can you work together to make it re-solidify that relationship and redevelop and refine that relationship into a win-win situation for both you and for the client as well. So, and of course, if you have any questions along the way, please feel free, go into the chat box or shoot me an email at michael@coachfortutors.com. Always there to help and happy to help out. So let's get started. So we're going to be going over what is your tutoring niche as our first part. And when developing a tutoring company, it's really important to think of your skill sets. I know when I started my own tutoring company back in 2011, I thought, oh my gosh, I'll say I can do all grades and all subjects and I can do just everything. And people are going to come to me and it's going to be amazing and it's all going to just work out that way. And I learned after several months, that's not quite the case, because if you say you're a Jack or Jill of all trades, you're not mastering anything and you're not defining who is going to be the best for you and who you best serve. And you're running around, running yourself ragged, trying to teach biology and math and French and English. And it's so great to have a specific grade, a specific subject, a skill set, and most important, what problem that you solve for a client. And having all those pieces in mind when you're developing your niche can really help you to stand out in the market, and really help when parents and guardians are looking for a tutor. They really can hone in on, oh, this tutor can really help my child. So a case study we'll start with, and we can put it in the chat box or people can unmute and share, would be you're a parent and you're looking for English tutoring for your child. And your child's 8 years old, they're in grade 3. Which ad are you going to be more drawn to when you're looking at the ads? Point A, which is I'm a tutor for all grades in both mathematics and English. Or B, the ad says I'm an English mentor tutor who specializes in helping children between grades or years 2 to 4. Which one would be the bigger draw for you as a parent or guardian? And we can either unmute or do some comments in the chat section. Okay, B, okay, thanks. Thanks, Jack. B, very good. Martina, Grace. All right. Awesome. So yeah, it's the overwhelming majority are saying B. So yeah, and that's very important. And another thing to just think about when you're creating an ad, even if you're have a very specific niche, is not to include your price point in your ad as well when you're having your niche, your ideal client, because it's the key piece is you're building a relationship, not a financial transaction. So you want to look at, okay, who are you helping? How are you helping them? And price can come later. But really, when you're putting your niche together and you're marketing to people, you want to really focus on how can you get their attention and start to build that relationship, not this is how much I cost for these services. So an activity we'll do now, and if you have the workbook, you can fill it out directly in the workbook. If not, maybe through pencil paper. Let's take a moment and try filling out your specific niche. So your business name, if you have a business name, subject, try to keep it to one, maybe two subjects, grade, geographical region, could be online or it could be offline, depending. Which problem do you solve? And what makes you unique? What is it about you as a mentor tutor or a tutor? What do you do that's special? How do you carry yourself? How do you help a family that's different from other people? An example was with my tutoring company. We were really driven by interest-based learning. So we were very drawn to how can we make this about the students' interests and merge the students' interests with the learning process and have it come together as one. So that was our unique selling point to parents, was this is going to be based on your child's interests as well as on their academic needs. So let's take a few moments and think of what would be your niche. And if you're comfortable with sharing your niche, that'd be wonderful as well. Okay, everybody, so we'll take just another minute to just write down our niches, and then we can go over them together as a team before we go into the next step of our workshop. Martina's given a really good point to everybody. She says, I'm struggling with my niche, but the closest I've gotten is English, French, and Italian for all ages. Is there a particular program approach you have, Martina, or do you have, is it customized for each student? Is there a particular age group you find that majority of people go to? Is it mostly primary age students, secondary, or post-secondary? Okay. And then Martina, for your students, oh, thank you, Zainab. That's excellent. Year 4 reading support, year 4 to 9 math. Very good. Let's see here. I drew secondary science, also run Japanese club. That's great. No, that's good. If you have 1 or 2, that's excellent. Small group practical sessions based on hands-on activities, games, even cooking. Okay. That's really great, Serena. Serena's tuition aim to support those in KS2 who have fallen out of love with English and math and running small practical sessions. That's great. Fantastic. And Martina, what about, do you find, it's good that it's very goal-oriented. That's fantastic. Is it customized goals for learning the language? Is there a particular part of the language that you specialize in as well? These are fantastic, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing. John, business English and writing for non-native senior business executives. That's very specific. Thank you. Okay. All right. So yes, if you would like to continue sharing your niches in the comments, that's fantastic. Thank you for everybody who is sharing. We're going to head to our next page of our activity. So the next part that kind of ties in with your niche is, who are your ideal clients? And when you're developing a relationship with a client, you're getting that initial piece together, it's important to think about, okay, how can I tie in who I help, how I help them with people that are going to be a great match for my company? Because it's very easy, especially when you start, it's tempting to just take on any client that you can, because you want to have clients and you want to start somewhere and get a foundation of clients going. Thing to consider is, do you want to have clients that are going to click with what you're offering, are going to be open to what you're offering, and are going to respect and value what you do? I know for myself, when I started, I had a lot of parents that were like, oh, this is great, but can we get a discount? Or, oh, can we get this cheaper? It was really about the money with these parents, and they didn't want to do more than an hour a week. And it was just like, there were just little things like that, even though it may not be in the best interest for their child. They wanted a certain matrix put together. So it's just thinking about, when you connect with your ideal client, of course, there's going to be compromise and there's going to be a back and forth exchange, but thinking about what's going to be best for this child and helping them to succeed. So it's thinking about hours a week for tutoring, considering, do you want to do an hour a week, hour and a half, 2 hours, based on that child's needs? What's the commitment for learning? I mean, is this family committed to seeing their child succeed in what matches with your philosophy? So if you're strongly an academic-based company, you're like, I want to see this child go from a B to an A, or this student go from B to A, and that's our focus, is the academic needs. Then you might want to match up with parents that are more academic oriented versus being a tutoring company that maybe you're more customized learning and more fun-based and engagement and hands-on learning. And you might be better suited to work with clients that are more focused on building their child's confidence and building it and more explorative, inquiry-based parents. So it's just things to think about when you're matching up. And also personality match as well. Of course, no, you're not going to always have the perfect personality match, but it's good to think about, are you with a family that's going to be the right fit for you, so that as you grow, you're taking care of yourself. Because there is the 80-20 rule where, you want to be cognizant of, is there going to be a client that's going to be not in the best interest of your company and growing your business. And you want to just be like, okay, I want to make sure I grow with the best people I can bring on as clients, so that I can feel success and I can have success with them. So it's just things to consider when you're developing your business. So a case study we're going to start with right now is you connect with a parent. They're friendly, they're eager, they work together towards seeing the success of their child. The child would benefit from 2 to 3 hours of tutoring a week. The parent agrees, they begin sessions with you. The child's resistant to the learning process, and the parent asks immediately to scale back to 1 hour a week. However, you know that 1 hour a week would not be beneficial for this particular child. So in the comment section below, let's think, what would you do in that situation? If a parent starts out, they're like, yes, we get it. Our child's a bit behind in certain areas. And they understand, what would be best for their child. But then then the child's resistant, and after the first session, they scale it back to an hour, and they are not open to having that discussion about expanding the hours up again. What would you do in that situation? Yeah, so let's take a moment and we'll just think about what are some ways we can do that.
Hi, this is Martina. I think I would do a trial where I would say, okay, let's trial the scaling back to an hour a week, but manage their expectations from the start and say, we're only going to do this for whatever, 1 week, 2 weeks, and then we'll review the situation.
That's fantastic, Martina. So you're saying like, yeah, we'll kind of just, yeah, like scale it back to the hour, see how that student adapts to that change, and then gauge from there. Yeah.
Yeah, because if I think if this child is going to come to your sessions absolutely hating it 2 to 3 hours a week, you're setting yourself up to fail. So I think I would maybe give in to the parent request or the child's request, but making it very clear that that's not a long-term solution.
That's fantastic. That's a great point. And what in the situation that if you find after they scale back to 1 hour, the student is developing a great cadence with you, would you then open up the floor to a 2 hour or an expansion of some sorts?
Yeah, but I think it depends on the age of the child, because maybe the reason that they're struggling is the length, the duration of one session. So maybe they can't do 2 hours back to back because they're 8. And you need to consider breaking them up into smaller chunks or building up a tolerance. Maybe the next week you do an hour and 15 minutes, and then the week after that it's an hour and 30 minutes, and so on.
Perfect. No, that's great. No, thank you, Martina. That sounds excellent. That's a great idea. Does anybody else like to share? We have probably time for one more person if they'd like to share.
There are a few ways you could deal with it. You could deal with it in that way that's just been spoken. You could also bring the parents in and have a discussion with the child, because as we all know, in teaching, what happens in the lesson and what goes out as a perception is often very different. There's also, if it's your business and your reputation, do you want to have that happening? And it's a question of what image you want to project. Because if you know that that child is going to regress, what is the message that's going to be sent out? Are you going to let them get away with it? Because at the end of the day, they're not going to, it's very unlikely that the child's going to come back to those 2-3 hours. So it's probably best to let them say, well, if you feel like that, it's probably best that we go somewhere else. That's what I would do. And I've let people go that I've felt that I have been putting effort into it because it's my reputation.
No, absolutely, Mary Jane. Thank you so much for sharing that, because exactly, it's your reputation and also what, believing in what you can offer to that client and making sure that you're giving the best that you can, and also that they're respecting the process as well. And yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. So our next part we're going to cover, everybody, is 10 keys to connecting and developing your relationship with a new client. So that the big key is really at the start is really making sure you have that solid relationship. Again, it's not a financial transaction, it's building the relationship. And we're going to start with a couple of case studies. And then if you have the workbook, we have listed here the 10 different steps for really developing an amazing 5-star experience for your client during the assessment and the first session. But we're going to do a couple case studies first. We're going to do these in breakout rooms. Take a few moments to do these. One breakout room will be case study A. The other breakout room will be case study B. And we're just going to talk as a group and see as groups and see, okay, what would you do in these what did this tutor do well in this situation, and what could this tutor improve upon to really deliver an amazing experience for this client, to bump it from being okay to amazing. So for case study A, for those who are going to be in the A group, it's going to be a family has set up a meeting with you. You log in a few minutes early. You begin assessing their student's skills. The student is resistant to wanting to do an assessment. You persist with completing the assessment, and the student's motivation, unfortunately, continues to wane. After an hour, the assessment is stalled. You provide the parents' guardians with feedback on their child's progress. The meeting ends with you providing your contact information, sending the student's assessment information a week later, and you never hear back from the family. So that's case study A. So it's kind of, what did that tutor do well? What could that tutor do differently? And for case study B, for those in that breakout room, it's going to be another family has eagerly signed up for tutoring sessions with you. You have related the students' learning to their interests. You set up a first session for 2 weeks later. You log in or show up a minute late and spend the first session building the relationship with the student. So much so that session material is only briefly touched upon near the end. And the family would like to know what was worked on, and you provide a general summary through text message the next day. So again, if it's good, if it's okay with QT Tech, if we can break out into breakout rooms for case study A, case study B, we'll break out for about 3-4 minutes, have some discussions, and then we'll come back to main meeting and we'll discuss what we would do.
Brilliant. Okay, so Michael, there'd be about 15, 16 in each breakout room. That sounds okay, does it? That's good.
Yeah, or we could do maybe 8, 8, 8, 8. So like we could have maybe 2 groups of 8 in case study A, 2 groups of doing case study B maybe.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, real chance for a voice. It's a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. So the first 2 rooms will be A and the second 2 rooms will be B. I'm about to open those rooms. So as Michael said, we'll be in there for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll bring you all back in and we'll hear your thoughts on what you discussed. Don't worry if you don't get a chance to speak in this breakout room, there'll be 2 other breakout rooms as well. So I'm opening those rooms now. If you have any issues, just contact us in your Zoom bar at the bottom, but we will see you in about 5 minutes time.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for taking time in the breakout rooms to go over the 2 different case studies that we had. So for case study A, for those who were in the rooms with case study A, it was great to kind of pop in and see some of the discussion that was going on. But what is some of the stuff that was happening in people who had case study A? What are some of the things that we discussed and we're looking into? I can either be unmuting to talk, or we could put it on the chat in the chat box there as well. That'd be great.
I was in case study A, group A, so I'd said we mentioned like about providing prompt feedback, and if there will be a delay in providing the feedback, inform the parents prior to the lesson or immediately after the lesson that it will be like 3 to 5 working days or whatever the limit will be. And the positive points were that they logged in a few minutes early and brief feedback was given during the class, so at least it was like some feedback, but the feedback that was coming after should have been a bit more prompter.
No, absolutely, Maria. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think there should have been more prompt feedback, and yeah, whether it's 3 to 5 business days or whatever, whatever timeline is best, but more communication there. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Would anybody else? Oh, I think there's something in the chat box for. Let's see. Perfect. Initial consultation with the child. Yeah. Well, thank you, Miguel. That's a great idea, Martina, for posting that as well. Doing initial consultation with the child as well as the parent. That's absolutely very important to have that initial assessment, so you can really get to see who this student is all about and really have that consultation and assess behaviors and behavior patterns and just comfortability as well. So thank you very much. For case study B, and if you have others from A, please don't feel free to put them in the chat box. That'd be great. For case study B, what were some of the conclusions or ideas to help this tutor to bring up their meeting to the next level? So for B, was there anything about I don't know, how the majority of the session was spent just building that relationship versus some of the academic pieces? Was there any concerns with that, or was that handled well, building rapport for the first session? Or let's see here.
Okay. Oh.
I like Sharon's comment. Logging in late, shocking. All right, so yeah, very good. Okay.
Right, it wasn't all that bad, because you don't have to necessarily use, in the first session, you don't necessarily have to use any formal materials. Because you can still assess some intellectual capabilities, mental arithmetic, vocabulary, English, etc. And so you could assess in that as potential, and so there was a good rapport building. However, and when we discussed it, I hadn't noticed it that it was the tutor that was logging in late. I thought it was the family. So that's really a bad thing, logging in late.
Yeah.
And it would have been better if there was some work that could have been produced. Doesn't have to be really formal, but a little bit. And the texting is a really unprofessional way of communicating a general summary. So if he logged in on time, I don't have an issue, but other people may, that it's not, you know, he's going to do this by such and such a time. On a first session, I don't think that's a real issue because there are other ways of assessing it, but managing it in the way that it is down there is not good. It's not very professional.
Right. No, thank you, Mary Jane, for sharing that. And I see there's a couple points in the chat about why would texting be seen as unprofessional. So what do we think about that, everybody? Like, because texting, that's a tough one because it can, I guess, yeah, a bit too informal for a professional tutoring session. Thanks, Francesca. That's a good point. Like, I think if you've known the family for a number of years and it's in-person tutoring and you're running a couple minutes late, a text might be the best way to reach them, for example. But texting after the first session, yeah, like you're trying to set your best foot forward, so that might not be construed as the best foot forward. But then again, every client's a little bit different. Some prefer that. But that's something you can always ask your client as well. Like, would you prefer a text or would you prefer email or call? So then you give the fault in the client's court. Right. Oh, Rachel, perfect. What, use WhatsApp? All right. That's good. Yeah, set expectations first. Initiate by them with the text. Thank you, Cassie. And Ellie, let's see, most of the time for communicate through Messenger. Very good. Awesome. So let's go to our next part, which is, so in your workbooks here, we have 10 keys to connecting, developing your relationship with a new client. So I won't go into all the details just for time constraints, but I'll just go over the bold points. So when you have your discovery meeting or your initial assessment, you know, having something that's customized for your new student is great. A small gift to provide after the assessment is always lovely. So I know for myself, when a student was interested, for example, in slime, I'd get them a little dollar store slime after the assessment, and they love that. And you're building that rapport with the student and you're building that connection with them just by something that they're interested in. New questions. So again, continue to ask the parents more and more questions. Ask, listen, and learn. And that's really important to just continue to build that. Have the assessment, program procedures, protocols ready to go so that when a parent's asking about, you know, what's the next steps, you're ready. You have things to share, discuss, go over with them. And that's a great time. That's when the prices really come into play at that point as well. So you've built up all this wonderful value and, you know, authentic value for a client. They're seeing the rapport you're building. They see that relationship. Now, when it's about price, it becomes a lot easier to go into with them to discuss programs and packages and all those pieces. And then amazing gratitude to match your awesome attitude. So just having a thank you new client for the opportunity to work with them. Provide them with 2 business cards or some sort of 2-for-1 special so that it's a very early stage to start kind of putting the seed there that, you know, they can maybe pass on that extra card to a friend they know, or they can email some little special voucher to a friend they know. So it's an early stage because it's too early to ask for a referral, but it's just putting the seed in there as things develop. And then once you're working with a client for afterwards, when you're sending the assessment results, link resources to your new students' needs and interests, and and then send them a friendly reminder email the day before. Clients love to receive that friendly reminder. Build up the anticipation for this exciting first session. Build up that, generate that excitement for the family that this is not tutoring. This is a fun, engaging experience to really help their child reach their full potential. And as we talked about already, with case, especially with case study B, you want to be early to your session. 5-10 minutes early is more than okay. Shows great professionalism. Set that bar high. Be engaging. Be insightful. You know, add specific feedback at the end of the session. Even stay online for that first session. Stay online an extra 5 minutes. Answer a few more questions. Really build up that you're there for them. This is exciting. This is an awesome process, and it's going to be great. And then the next day follow up. Check in the next day. Hope your child, or hope so and so enjoyed the first session. Here's an extra resource for them. I was thinking about them, and just wanted to share that, and I can't wait to see you again. Just little things like that. It takes a few minutes of your time, but it's going to be building up those powerful relationships that are going to help you to have a great, eased time with your clients, and at the same time set you up to potentially get some great referrals or great testimonials down the road. So you're setting the stage in the business sense in that way, but in the personal sense, you're building that wonderful rapport that we as educators, really, we do our best to give our best foot forward. So just as a point here, connections foster relationships, relationships spark growth for your business. So our next step we're going to do is building and keeping 5-star client relationships. So once you have that client, you've had that amazing first session, things are moving along, things are clicking. Now it's about building, how do you keep that momentum going? How do you keep to build those 5-star relationships? What are some things you can do for a client that's now your client? How do you continue to nurture that relationship? So that's going to be our next breakout room. We're going to take, let's see, it's about 10:40 now. So we'll take about, we'll say maybe 3-4 minutes in the breakout room, and we'll split into 4 groups. We'll go into small breakout rooms. We'll spend a few minutes on what we brainstormed about after, and then we'll go into our last section after that.
Excellent. So would you like the same groups, Michael?
Sure, yeah, or we can shake it up a little bit, get some more chance to network. So. Okay.
I will create 4 new groups. And what time did you want us back? Sorry, Mike, you said about 5 or 6 minutes.
I would say about maybe 4 minutes. Yeah.
4 minutes. Okay. Excellent stuff.
Awesome.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We have about 15 minutes left, and Michael is going to take us through from here.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So we're going to go for our next step. We were in breakout rooms discussing what you can do to keep and maintain those 5-star relationships. So I'm just going to turn on my annotate draw feature here, and let's get some ideas. So if you want to share what they talked about, some ideas, I'll just take some jot notes here. I'll get some good chat room. Oh, I like that from Rachel. First impressions, a welcome pack, handwritten note. That's fantastic. Georgina, thank you. Little gifts from time to time. Very powerful. Yep, email useful things, interesting things that you find. That's excellent as well. It's showing you have a vested interest in that child, also things that they're interested in. Sharon, I love that. Birthdays. Yeah, maybe a little birthday card every year. Just set it automated so they get a nice custom birthday card every year. That's awesome. A target list? Let's see. Yep, that's great. Offer a freebie. That's all right. Christmas cards, current past clients, handwritten cards. Excellent. For the freebie, Natalie, what kind of freebie are you thinking? Like a resource, student-based resource, or it could be, or a voucher for your business? Like what are we thinking for freebie? These are fantastic ideas, everybody. And let's see, provide a target list. What's a target list mean? It'd be great to hear more about that.
Okay, so that was me. I think I put on there. I with some of my students, not all, my younger ones certainly, I will do a list of what we're going to do so the parent has it. So I'll, if it's a boy playing football, learning football, I'll do a little football at the top and I'll say, right, over the next 4 weeks, this is what we're going to learn. And it gives them sort of a little bit of their own, I talk about it with them, but then the parent has that as a, oh, I know what's going on kind of thing. So if it's to learn to read 6 high frequency words or, write a paragraph or whatever it may be. So I'll give them a little goal sheet, if you like.
That's great, Amanda. That's very thoughtful. That really helps them to really build that.
It helps the parents sort of know like what you're aiming for too, just for like, but keep it short and manageable.
Absolutely. And Natalie says resource like an ebook. That's great. Francesca, I love your idea of the percentage of profits going towards a charity. That's a charity, especially a charity that's maybe helping children or families. I mean, it can be any charity, but charity helping children or families can be really lovely too. Let's see, reward charts. Yep. Let's see, tailoring your tutoring to meet the child's learning needs. Absolutely. Yep. And then this is awesome. Great brainstorming, everybody. Certificates. Yep. Like I know for myself, usually some after the first lesson, holidays and report card time usually are great times to give those. Another idea could be a report card treasure map hunt, where you go through, you teach, because there's a lot of anxiety about report cards and just teaching children and families how to create that safe, fun, neutral space to go over a report card, treat it like a treasure map. What's your goal for next term? Let's mark the X, finds the spot there and find that goal and navigate through what went well this term, what you'd like to do better. So let's see, intrinsic rewards. Yes. After a course, absolutely. Discounts, it's a good idea. No, it's a good idea. I would say if we could, would you be open to rewording it maybe as a special voucher for them maybe, or a special bonus? Because discounts might devalue what you're doing and devalue who you are. So maybe, but I like the idea. It's just, there's open ideas, but just maybe something that's more voucher based. So it keeps, the value there. Maria, I can definitely, I have it, not right here, right now, but I do have it. I'm more than happy to send you a message today. If you're in the qualified tutor community, I'll shoot you a message later today with the treasure map. Make a note here. You're very welcome. Perfect. All right, these are amazing ideas. Thank you so much, everybody. So let's go to our last part for today about finding and keeping great tutoring clients. I have a blog that Ludo very generously posted yesterday about 5 approaches to maintaining long-term clients. So if you had a client for months, years, how do you rejuvenate, revitalize that relationship? Because at times, especially if you're with somebody for many years, the comfortability could set in. How do you give that wonderful client relationship a jolt, a boost, and really, give it some newfound momentum? So that's there, but we're going to move to something that happens. Inevitably, it can happen. Is how do you turn an unhappy client into a returning tutee? Because that can happen where a client starts off with you, they're happy with how things are going, and then it goes south. And how do you help turn that around in a win-win manner? So what we're going to do, I'm actually going to skip slide 12, go on to 13 here, is I'm going to share with everybody just briefly a direct example of when I had a client who was unhappy with the service, and just a way to turn it around that's win-win. So the client leaves the meeting or leaves the situation feeling satisfied, and yourself as a business, you feel you've done the best you can do as well to help your business continue to grow, but at the same time, the client's needs have been addressed. So we started working with a client several years ago, and the client had the initial session, things went really well, they were happy, they couldn't wait to start. Had the first session, did the call check-in to see how things went with the tutor that was there. It was going great. And then a few weeks later, I received an email from the parent saying, we are not happy. We're not happy. This is not acceptable. This is not a good service. And, you take a moment to process that, but it was just, okay, what's going on? And so and by no means am I saying, that I'm not infallible. I mean, we all all of us are going to have moments where we oops on different pieces. And so with this one, it was, okay, what can I do to help this client? And at the same time, how can I help my tutor as well? And what's going on? So the first thing I did was set up a face-to-face meeting, if, or be it online or be it in person, a face-to-face meeting with the client to have that discussion, because email, you can't recognize tone, you can't recognize, you can't see what they're feeling, and you can't get that connection there. So setting up that face-to-face and just asking, saying, I noticed things, we're initially going really strong, and then just received this email. What's going on, and how can I help? What's happening? And just giving them the chance to really leave it open-ended and give them the chance to really express to you what is going on. So, and having as well beforehand, just having a list of questions that you kind of have little notes ready if it's going to be online like this. If it's face-to-face, just think of a few, just try to remember a couple open-ended questions when you're sitting with them. And this client said, well, you know what? I'm not happy with the fact that your tutor doesn't bring materials to the lesson. Stop bringing materials the last week or so. And we've had to scramble and create materials from our stuff. And I thought, okay, well, whoa, that should not be happening. But I had asked her, well, I said to her, okay, so that's happened. What can we do? What can we do to turn this around? And I said, if going forward, this tutor brings materials and things are ready going forward, and we can correct this, would that be okay? Is there anything else that's maybe going on, or is this is our issue? We'll correct right away for you. And she said, no, everything else is fine. That is our issue. So I spoke with the tutor and I just asked, okay, well, what's happening with that? And she said, well, my printer ran out. I don't have any ink. I can't print anything off. So I said, I mentioned to the tutor, I said, well, what if we do something online? We set up an online hub where everything's on if you have an iPad, it's there, and you can just work from your iPad, and it can be more technical. And she was like, yes, that's a great idea. And so I spoke with the parent after and said, okay, it's going to be online. It's going to be in a hub. It's going to be there for you, and you have access to what your child's working on as well. And the tutor's going to bring it every single class, and it's going to be there. And then you can see your child's progress. And at the same time, it's online for you as well. So you can see it, they can see it, and we can move forward stronger and ready to help Jason grow as a learner. And I apologize so much for the inconvenience. And we'd like to also offer you a special 30-minute voucher on the house from us to you, so you can have that extra time, so Jason can continue to have an awesome time learning with Samantha. And that worked. Of course, they weren't right away, oh my gosh, things are wonderful, but checked in after that session, a couple other sessions, and then checked in with my tutor, make sure they're feeling good about things. And you leave it feeling a win-win, because the family stayed for 2 more years. And it's because, you're building just through communication and building. And same with the tutor stayed because they felt heard. The family stayed because they felt heard. And at the end of the day, it didn't come down to refunds or pricing or any of those things there, because refunds, you want to wait till that is an absolute last resort, is doing a refund. You want to help this family feel heard and understood. And you want to make sure that if you have tutors that are working for you, they feel understood, and they feel heard, and they have a voice as well. And and then do your best to course correct, and and confirm with the client, and send a special thank you offer, be it a card, a voucher, something, so that they feel that they're, they feel extra special, and that, you understand that, that they are valued and they are heard. So I want to thank everybody so very much for coming to today's presentation. You were an amazing, attentive audience. It was awesome to have all of you here. I have a special offer for all of you. So on my website, Coach for Tutors, www.coachfortutors.com, I have a bonus content section, which has various PDF checklists you can download for different business-related topics. Also have here 2 different books that you can download as well. The 10+ steps for the successful launch of your tutoring business. And if you're past the launch phase, 10+ steps for successful growth of your tutoring business. And so for that part, the URL is here, www.coachfortutors.com/shop. Use the promo code CFT10 to receive 10% off your tutoring business ebooks today. So again, I want to thank you all so much, and let's have some Q&A if others have any questions they'd like to ask.
Let me just jump in here first, please, to say thank you, Michael, so much. We've all been marveling at how engaging this session is, and how it's built on so coherently with the thinking that we've been doing all day. I would like to ask the group, please, to give me a physical thumbs up if you would like to be involved in more business tutor coaching with Michael and Qualified Tutor in the future. Can you just give me a thumbs up, please, if that's something that you'd be up for? Excellent. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, so we'll follow up with you soon. Ludo, over to you. Michael, thanks again.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much from me as well, Michael. You can see from the comments that that's helped a good number of people, so please stay in the conversation. You know what I'm going to say next. I'm going to say the big survey. If you haven't completed that, then please do. Now is a good time with a little bit of a break before this evening's activities. And also, of course, it enters you into the prize, into the raffle prize, to win one of the amazing prizes that we have on offer. And Jack will be doing another raffle draw in his glam outfit tomorrow, a little bit later in the afternoon. So thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful break. Now, this evening, we have the Tutors Marketplace from 5 till 6. Today's one was the best one we've had so far, so do drop in. At 7:15 p.m. British summertime, we have the Entrepreneurs Roundtable with Mark Huxley from earlier today, Ash Phillips, and Simon Fordham from the Association of Business Mentors. And then at 9 p.m, we're rounding off today's activities with Running an Agency, a late night live podcast with me, with Helen Kenworthy from The Complete Works, with Harry Cobb from Bonus McFarlane, and with Georgina Green, the founder of Green Tutors. So that's a late night live podcast at 9 p.m. Once again, thank you very much, Michael.
Thank you.
And someone's alarm's just gone off.